RevExpo Studio.
Welcome. It is a privilege to host you today, Bianca. We are honored to have you, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you a little bit more about the mission and vision of the company, as well as how you engage with enterprises around the world to amplify their mission. Before we begin, please allow me to introduce Bianca to share with you a little bit about her amazing background. She is a sustainability advocate, an ecosystem builder, totally purpose-driven. She's transforming the intangible of sustainability into realities that improve lives of people, communities, and ecosystems. She's the co-founder and co-CEO of Premios Verdes. She's the former Vice Minister and Deputy Minister of the Environment of Ecuador, former Environment Director of Guayaquil, and founder and CEO of EPICO. She's the first Innovation Public Corporation of Ecuador CEO. She has 18 years of experience working with corporations fostering purpose, innovation, entrepreneurship for business sustainability. And she believes in the power of Latin America and its influence in global solutions for innovative nature-based solutions economy. I congratulate you for that extensive experience and for all the long history that you dedicated to growing this ecosystem. We're so glad to have you.
No, thank you so much. I'm really excited and a great honor to be able to talk to you, Ingrid. And you know, I'm very inspired by everything that you have accomplished and continue accomplishing for sustainability and for fostering innovation.
Thank you. And I always get the question, how did I get into all this ecosystem and what drove me? So I would like to extend that question to you too. When you think back to your younger self, what sparked your passion and your interest? Because it's always different when we look back in our career as to what motivates us now. So maybe you share with our audience so that you can inspire other leaders.
Well, actually, it was like a really, I always laugh because I shared that once in a TEDx conference and it was kind of like really marked. But my father has always been very connected, even though he's a lawyer. His biggest passion was to be around, you know, the land and be able to cultivate. So we are, you know, we are a family that our background is definitely very close to agriculture and to the land and the soil and all that. But that wasn't really my thing growing up. But then my senior year of high school, I was, because of community service, I would say was forced to do some community service. And then because it was with a graduate from what years later was my university, he kind of like led us to go to a farm and kind of to completely transform it into a auto-sustainable farm. And I didn't even know what that meant or even could pronounce it. You know, I was 17 years old, and that was back in the days when this language was not very common. And then I was totally driven and completely transformed by the fact that how nature actually works, and the fact that, you know, pork manure combined with, you know, the right approach and worms, they could actually turn into compost and you can put it back to the soil. That completely blew my mind. And I was like, you know what, I want to be near that because nature is so perfect. And for me, it was an eye-opener, and my heart was kind of like speeding so hard. And then he was like, you know what, I've seen your whole transformation, and definitely you belong to Earth University in Costa Rica. And I was like, why not? So it wasn't really like, I wasn't born to that. It was completely like, for the first time, everything made so much sense from where we come from, where we belong, and the fact that I did understand that I was not going to be, working on the field, that I was really clear about that, but that in order to move forward and to create a future, you needed to connect and understand our connection with the planet. And that's basically what was kind of like the beginning of it.
So it's intriguing because you actually did your pilot project and your live ecosystem beta testing before you even went to the university, right?
Exactly.
So you went the reverse. And I was just talking to someone yesterday that, the Japanese methodology of Gemba, to always be boots on the ground for leaders to be successful, they need to understand everything 360, what their teams are doing. Well, you started with that. So it's very important, and that will give you the nice foundation. When you interact with the teams, they can feel, they understand that you've been there, done that, and you truly have the full perspective. Well, that's
From the
beautiful.
ground. Yeah, from
Exactly.
the ground. So yeah, that's basically it. And that's how you really understand, and the empathy and the vulnerability to kind of engage with different stakeholders. I think that makes so much difference to understand different point of views. And the fact that I was, during my education, I was really able to engage with really small farmers up to, these big scales, global corporations. And the fact that you do understand different point of views, that's something that really helped me once I was in the public sector working. So yeah, that's definitely something that I was very lucky to be involved in a very early stage in my life.
Thank you. And I'm glad you mentioned this little story, how everything began, because our audience will enjoy hearing true, authentic leadership, right? We always tell everyone that in this digital era and in this globalized ecosystem, it's important to have authentic leadership, because otherwise it doesn't work anymore. Our customers and partners are expecting that, and you starting like that is already the greatest way to demonstrate that. That's beautiful. And I was intrigued when I read the mission and vision of Premios Verdes the first time, how complex the organization is, how many pillars you have. So I was hoping you can explain to our audience that wants to learn more about it and maybe become involved, how you constructed it, how you built it, and why you have all these facets, the important ones, not only the vision, but also what you bring to the ecosystem, because you're providing also not only support for entrepreneurs, but you're also having, of course, the eco mission, but more importantly, you're also providing mentorship and education and advocacy. So it's the full 360. So maybe highlight all what you think is important for our audience to hear, so that they can become supporters or become involved.
Thank you, Ingrid. So yeah, so basically Premios Verdes, it's almost 10 years old. So, back in the day, social media and the power of ecosystems and building ecosystems, and the importance of community was not as now it is, right? That now like everyone wants to belong into a community that could fulfill you. So, and especially in Latin America, when talking about nature, when talking about innovation with biodiversity, or natural capital assets and all that, there was not so many champions, and the innovation was basically coming from the north to the south, and that's nothing wrong with it. But the fact that there are a lot of amazing people that are working every day, and that work should be acknowledged worldwide, right? And the fact that in Latin America there are a lot of good examples that definitely might scale globally and help other ecosystems as well. So, and the three co-founders are Gustavo, Jose Javier, and me and myself. Now we have a beautiful team also, but we are also social and environmental entrepreneurs. So we felt firsthand the how hard it was to start something, founding something in the environmental or the sustainable arena, right? It was really hard. So the lack of community and the lack of a platform, not a digital platform, but a platform that you can, be surrounded by people that believe and work every single day, proving that there is an economy and there are very different ways to show that you can be successful. But there's a way that is not business as usual. That really eager us to do something for our region. And Latin America, of course, 35% of all the water sources in Latin America, the most biodiverse region. So, it made a lot of sense. So when designing Premios Verdes, we said that we are an award, that it's much more than an award. So our purpose is that we find, we connect, and we amplify these game changers, right? So for us, Premios is a way to find. So now that you find these change makers in different topics, we're only working with, founders or entrepreneurs. We're working with corporations, with these intra-entrepreneurs, with, leaders, the ones that are making, the policy makers, not only national, but also, at the city levels. We're working with NGOs, like the big NGOs, the global NGOs, but with small, really, territorial, local NGOs, and civil society, because that's how the economy works. So we cannot only work with only that. So now that we find them, we put a spotlight. And also within all these different stakeholders, and of course our amazing outreach partners as well, that's where the magic happens. So for Premios, of course, we do have categories and we do have finalists, and we will have winners each year. We do, but because we do believe in the power of community, our value proposal is that each year we work with the top 500 projects. In order to submit a project, you don't need to pay a dime. It doesn't have any cost. Because otherwise we do know that there are different areas of amazing leadership and amazing innovation that if we charge $20, they wouldn't be encouraged to submit a project. So it doesn't cost anything. We have 11 different categories, from sustainable finance to ecosystems protection, marine, land, fresh water, through a circular economy. So there are 11 categories, and each year we work with the top 500 projects. Each day normally we will have around 2,000 projects to 2,500 projects, and that means that 1 out of 4 or out of 5 will be part of that community. And since then, we work online. We have an accelerator program. And then the ones that really show interest, they will be connected to amazing mentors. And then we have an annual event that it's in Miami in April, actually during Earth Week. And that's what the magic really, really happens. There's a lot of amazing network, inspiration. It's a lot of, sharing. Definitely Premios is a community that works towards collaboration. There's no selfishness. And so, and then of course we do have the finalists and the winners. And the media, traditional and non-traditional media, really like these amazing projects and the positive examples, and they're really attracted to that. So it's also really a big platform and a highlight to show the world that, yeah, we do have a lot of challenges ahead. Now we feel it every day, but with innovation and the right platform, the solutions are already being created.
So for our audience, you are industry agnostic. You have the 11 categories, and do you keep in touch with the companies after the awards? how does that work if they want to, let's say, participate and they worry that they might not be the winner? Do they still stay in touch with you afterwards?
Yeah, most of them, yes. Of course, the COVID and everything, even though it made it easier to have online, I do believe that, the physical contact and everything, it's like our new luxury, right? To be able to have these contact. But yeah, we do. As the community grows, there's a lot of opportunities that they do not come probably directly from us, but there are a lot of different communities or that are from our own ecosystem, and they do acknowledge the fact of the leadership in different areas that are from our community. So there are a lot of different news and opportunities. And then of course we do have different webinars or content or different things from edition to edition. So that's a way that our community keeps involved. There are others, for example, that they could start as participants, but then they will become mentors, or probably they will probably be some part of our speakers. Even they could change, they decided to go in a different way and they are part of a like a impact fund, for example, and now they do understand that Premios Verdes has a lot of probably opportunities. So there's a lot of interaction within the community, and we decided to move to Miami, to Miami be the host city from this year, because Miami, it's a very exciting and vibrant city, and from the strategy, they want to attract the best talent in sustainability, but also into technology. So we thought that that was an amazing combination, and that made a lot of sense for us. And that's also a way to raise the bar and increase the opportunities for our community.
So you're acting as an enabler, as a facilitator, and you chose Miami because it sits at the intersection of technology, innovation, also talent management, right? So it has a lot of talent that is required for this type of initiatives.
Yeah, and also, the fact that we were very focused and centered in Latin America and the Caribbean. Now Miami, it's kind of like it's kind of like the natural next step if we wanted to expand globally, and knowing that that's in a long-term strategy. But Latin America, it's part of it's our roots, and that's like the ones that we don't want to leave behind, right? So it's kind of like combining it into this new chapter of our organization, and we really look forward into these connections expanding globally.
That's great. So for our audience that might be interested and intrigued about opportunity, can you summarize for them, do they need to have a company already formed, or can they just have a concept and submit a project, although maybe the creators of the project don't have a company yet? Do they need to already have revenue? Do they need to already have the product as a MVP, or can it just be ideation and you'll help them then with the rest? If you could crystallize some of those so that the audience can know if they are the right fit for you.
So there are a lot of ways that you can be part of Premios Verdes, right? If you want to submit a project, if you want to register a project, it doesn't matter for us if you are a company or if you are an independent, that just have an initiative. The only requirement that we do have is that it has to be, it has to be developing or developed in execution. It shouldn't be just an idea, no, because part of we have 5 very clear criteria of what we're finding in order to become part of the top 500 or the finalists or even the winners. It's the environmental impact, the social impact, the sustainability finance-wise talking, even though if you're a project with with profit or not for profit, we do want to see how it's your sustainability, the scalability, and the innovation. Those are the 5 criteria. So for ideas, no. But if you are listening to us and you say, you know what, I was always attracted to incorporate, a sustainability strategy or agenda in my project, in my company, in my research, but I don't know how, then this community is also for you, because it is made out of amazing people. And then you should be really close to our content agenda, by our social medias, through our webinars, and also you should go to our event in April, right? Because there you will have so many workshops, so many talks, master classes, and the fact that you will meet the right people to encourage you, but also help you throughout the way. And for the people, for the ones that are listening and saying, you know what, that makes sense, I do need the acknowledgement, I do need to even register a project. The process, it's amazing because it's kind of like a benchmark, right? You're once you're submitting, you say, man, I'm not measuring this, I don't have the right answer for that. So that's a win, right? And then after that, once you're part of the ranking, then you will get your certification, right? And that's very powerful, because there are a lot of, once you are, let's say, going for, maybe an investor or something, that's those are things, the recognition and the acknowledgement is
the trust.
you're looking for, exactly, the trust. And it doesn't cost anything, right? And also be part of the community. The fact that you say, you know what, I have this question, or I would need that. And immediately there are a lot of people saying, you know what, I know what you need, or I can recommend you to someone. It's amazing. That's really powerful. And that's Premios Verdes. So if you want to learn more, please go to our website, premiosverdes.org, or our social media, Premios Verdes.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. And maybe if you could also guide the companies that might want to partner with you or sponsor any of these events, how can they interact with you? Because we only addressed so far the companies that want to participate. So maybe you can highlight what is the ideal partner for you. How can companies that just care about the environment and would like to support maybe 1 or 2 participants or all the event, how can they engage with you?
Yeah, so basically, everything that we do it with the purpose of, finding, connecting, and amplifying these. And what you see in Premios Verdes, it's diversity, right? And globally, corporations, governments are looking for, the real talent, real innovation in a very diverse spaces, and that's Premios Verdes. So the way that we fund this project is by donations, and we look for partners that really click to us. So we're not looking for everyone, we're looking for really like long-term partners that want to develop something that actually add value to our purpose, to our mission. We do not see ourselves or our community as a spot project or something that, because it's kind of like, political correct talking about that. We have 10 years working. We have amazing successful cases of people that they have scaled amazingly. We test that every 4 years. Actually, this coming year, we are actualizing our impact as a community and the impact of our, finalists and people that kind of like show from the average, and that we want to show that to the world. So for us, we do need support. We do need corporations, or we need organizations that, it makes a lot of sense to kind of support. And we are kind of like in this middle, at the middle for, investment funds, or even corporations that are looking for potential partners, but they want these projects to be kind of like curated or vested. So we are that. We are a project that can do that for different interests. But the most amazing part is the fact that we do give hope, and that we look very carefully throughout different territories. Where is innovation? Where is this talented? That probably they're underrepresented, and we give them a platform.
That's wonderful. And you mentioned that you're in Miami now for longer term, although you just started. You're here to stay. It's not like you just did one event, right? You have a longer vision to expand and scale. And can also international companies contribute to you, or just they have to be US or Latin America based?
No, worldwide. Yeah. So we do have non-for-profit organization states, and of course, donating at the state, it has some
benefit.
Some benefits. So that's an amazing thing, but we are very open worldwide. And now we're very also interested in engaging into new ecosystems for us, such as blockchain and Web3 and the metaverse. So we have partnered also, for example, with Algorand, and we are very eager to start this new journey that really complements the goals and the principles that we have towards sustainability, right? Bridging some gaps regarding inequality and access to these services that definitely unleash and foster the sustainable goals that I think that all of us are working for.
You'll be very happy. Just right before I came on to speak to you now, my last slide on a keynote was Web 3.0 for alignment with UN SDGs. So you will be very, it was highlighting the opportunity as the transition towards the next generation World Wide Web offers for inclusion, financial inclusion as well, not only ethical inclusion and all other facets that we always address, but also the opportunity, yes, to contribute to net zero. So companies that might want to, that have just made the pledge, that want to contribute to net zero, they could get in touch with you, and you could act also for the companies as the team that guides them how to do that. So they could be your partner, and you can help them achieve that goal by engaging in projects that are meaningful and that contribute towards net zero.
Yeah, and the new conversations globally, right? It's not, we do not need to address these global challenges as separated, right? It's not about climate, it's not about biodiversity, it's not about water, it's not about indigenous or underrepresented communities. It's about whole, right? That's why we're talking about nature-based solutions. That's why we're talking about the fact that we do not need to talk about the environment in a different avenue as the social inequalities and the social challenges that we do have. So that's why in Premios Verdes we have these different categories, but also we will be talking next April, and Ingrid, please, let's keep very close, because your audience will be very I think that we're very interested in also knowing about that. We're talking about innovation for for nature-based solutions. We're talking about the abundance mindset and technology to accelerate what we need to do, and also how to create a global, and the importance of the ecosystem builders such as you are, and a lot of amazing people that I have the privilege to work with. So this needs to be addressed as a new career,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they need to be trained to be trained, and they need funds because they're doing an amazing work bringing people together. And I was asked a couple of weeks ago which from the SDGs I thought it was the most important. And I think that the person that asked me that was actually expecting me to say, like some kind of like around the 13 or climate action or something like that. And I was like, definitely 17. We need to have healthy long-term partnerships. Without that, technology, it has already been developed. There's not a question of money. There's a lot of money throughout the world, but we do not have healthy long-term transparent partnerships, and that's what we need. So in places as Premios Verdes, when we bring different communities together and we say, okay, let's collaborate. So those are very, platforms that need to scale and that needs to add more people that with this common vision.
That's great. So as a closing statement, what would you tell someone that's a young entrepreneur now and never thought about this domain? What advice would you have? A word of encouragement?
To continue, this is not about perfection. This is about learning by doing. But now it's kind of like an option to be sustainable. But sometimes people think that talking about sustainability, it's about talking about environmental issues or social issues. But sustainability, it's about a long-term vision and existence. So sustainability needs to be like the most important thing. It's to think, the permanence in time. So when you're building a business, that's what you're looking for, right? So it makes no sense that you do not address those issues, but not in a side avenue, right? Or something. I hate the word social entrepreneur or social responsibility, or I don't know what. I do believe that it needs to be from the heart, and you need to work first you need to understand what's your purpose, and there are a lot of exercises online totally free for that, and then to create or be part something that really match to that. Once you do that, everything makes sense. Sustainability, it's not about technical things. It's about doing what is natural. And, somehow we have figured a way to disconnect from what is natural. And now reconnecting is an option. But in the next few years, it will be mandatory. So the ones that adapt the faster are the ones that really have the luxury to talk about sustainability.
Absolutely. And I would say, if I could add one other sentiment that echoes what you said, is that the world that you created with Premios Verdes is like a biological ecosystem, right? You need multiple key stakeholders to participate. You need to continuously adapt. You need to continuously innovate so that you can thrive, because that's how nature does it too, right? It's not static. It's a dynamic interaction, and everybody has to survive so that it's inclusive and diverse and can face adversities also that are coming our way, right?
Exactly.
Awesome.
And find your tribe. That's really good. That be surrounded by people that that have the same vision as you, even though we need to have different strength within
Opinions.
and opinions. That's good, but with the same vision. And that's right. Business as usual, it's over. Economy as usual, it's over. And those are the opportunities that entrepreneurs, young people need to embrace and have the abundance mindset, and then strategy, and then business.
So in a way, they have to find their own sustainable innovation DNA and then capitalize on it. So
exactly.
That's great.
Exactly.
Great. Wonderful. Well, on this beautiful note, thank you so much for the opportunity to talk to you and learn a little bit more about the organization and about how you came to create it. And we hope that our audience will reach out to learn more, and that also our partners in the community understand the vision that you have and support you and the companies that submit projects. Thank you so much for participating.
RevExpo Studios.